Hello, star friends. I am so glad you have found me over here on my Community Healing Arts page. I used to do astrology for the Bend Health Guide page, but I just wanted to move astrology over to my own Healing Arts page to leave the Bend Health Guide to be more of a community page. And we're doing lots of spring features for the Bend Health Guide. I just want that to be more about the community, less about me. I did a goal in 2021 to do a new moon and a full moon report for every month on the Bend Health Guide. So if you want to hear about last year, those are all over there. And now I'm moving into 2022 right here on my very own page. And for the next few full moons, I will be giving away an astrology chart. So make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the bell notification to find out if you win this month on this Cancer full moon report. Elizabeth Wing, you just won an astrology report. And you know, odds are really in your favor to play right now because I think I only have like 13 subscribers over here. And I really want to get that up to 1,000 subscribers, so help me out, like and subscribe, and you may just win. Really good odds you will win an astrology chart if you subscribe. I want to start out this Cancer full moon report with some good news for a change that comes from the 9 Star Ki Astrology. I had this revelation in the middle of the night the other night that I really think we could be moving away from this whole COVID respiratory pandemic as we move into 2022 in the 9 Star Ki Astrology, which is a Chinese-based astrology that is used in traditional Chinese medicine and also feng shui. And I have studied 9 Star Ki for over a decade. I love this form of astrology. It's a very nature-based astrology. And we will be, on February 3rd, moving out of that 6 metal star that we've been in for all of 2021. And actually, we have been in metal stars for the past 2 years, since 2020. When we entered 2020, we entered that 7 metal star. And then 2021 was a 6 metal star, and in Chinese medicine, metal rules the lungs. If you're an acupuncturist or something, I know you know what I'm talking about. So we have been in a lung-based metal star for the past 2 years, which really can lead to respiratory illness, just like we have seen with COVID. And now, on February 4th, Chinese New Year, we will move into that 5 moist soil earth year, which will bring much more water and earth energy, much more related to stomach, spleen, pancreas. So the only negative I could see is if maybe this pandemic or the COVID virus mutates into becoming more of a stomach flu. That's possible, but I think we're coming out of that whole respiratory lung time. And so this is good news. And if you want to learn more about the 9 Star Ki, I just did the full year's 9 Star Ki reports for all 9 signs, including a report on what that 5 center star means for all of us. And it's funny because I was saying how I see that there will be more floods and landslides for 2022, and we're already seeing that. We're not even in the soil star, but it's funny, as we get closer, that new star starts making itself known, and here we are weeks away from the February 3rd, and we're already seeing floods and landslides there. It's only going to get worse this spring. But anyways, if you want to know more about the 9 Star Ki, go back and look up your own star in the chart and then find your star and read what it means for your 2022. We will all be going home to our own element, our own star in 2022, and that has got to be good news too. And now going back into that Western astrology, on January 17th, we will have the most beautiful Cancer full moon, and Cancer is all about the mother. And it really reminds me of the divine feminine mother goddess Lakshmi, the great provider who you can call on and ask for anything you need, and Lakshmi will provide in the Hindu religions. And this is really a time to be your own mother. If you don't have a mother to provide for you, taking care of yourself, doing the self-care, mothering yourself, eating the nourishing foods, drinking plenty of water. I've been really getting into drinking lemon water on this dry January, and it's just so nourishing to drink hot water with lemon, and taking baths and getting massage and going for acupuncture, and just really nurturing your health and caring for yourself like a loving mother would care for you. And if you are lucky enough to have your mother around, you should reach out and call her and tell her how much you love her. I wish I still had my mom around, and I wish I could call her all the time. So, you know, this is a time to cherish the mother you have and the mother you are to yourself within. And I am recording this right now on January 8th when Venus is conjunct the Sun. And Venus has been traveling retrograde in Capricorn, and now it connects up with that Sun. And this Venus conjunct the Sun in Capricorn would be opposite this Cancer full moon. So this is on that Cancer Capricorn polarity that we have. And when Venus, the planet of love, desire, and beauty, conjuncts the Sun, where it just lights it up and expands that love, this is a time to really get into your heart center. This is a time to be around those that you love and be out experiencing beauty. We are out here on the Deschutes River today, just soaking in all the beauty that nature provides. Nature is like the Earth Mother providing to us children all of the beauty, all of the healing in nature. And you can go out wherever you live. I'm sure you have some area of nature. You can just go out and connect with it with your heart. And today we're soaking in sunshine and blue skies. And I'm sure wherever you are, this Sun conjunct Venus day is just a radiantly beautiful day as Venus shines. And Venus, after this conjunction, she will continue on her retrograde journey to go into the underworld, where she will become completely invisible from us as she hides from sight for us on Earth. And Venus will stay invisible until she re-emerges as morning star on January 17th, exactly the time of this full moon Cancer. And right before we have the north node of the moon moving into that powerful Taurus Scorpio axis that I've been talking about for a little while. And Taurus, of course, is ruled by Venus. So Venus is really coming into her power at the exact moment just before Taurus North Node comes in. And Venus has this incredibly long 584-day cycle. When you compare that to something like the moon has just a 28-day cycle. But Venus has a 584-day cycle where she travels from being evening star, where she was for most of 2021. From May of 2021, she's been evening star, shining bright, kissing the moon, as many of us saw this last year. And then she went retrograde in Capricorn this winter. And now she conjuncts the Sun, shining her love vibes even brighter, lifting our hearts and really giving us all this juicy heart energy right before she continues her retrograde journey and goes invisible into the underworld. And then she will re-emerge as morning star on January 17th, and Venus is only really retrograde about 7% of the year, or of her whole 584-day cycle. And so this Venus retrograde we are in right now is really pretty rare. This is a special time where Venus goes inward. And if you have Venus retrograde in your astrology chart, that is a rare aspect too. And I have Venus retrograde, and it is an interesting aspect. Let me know if you have Venus retrograde too. Mention it in the comments if you have Venus retrograde. I want to know because it's so rare, those of us who have it. And this Venus retrograde, when she's going into her invisible underworld time, is a time of divine feminine energy that is brewing under the surface. And it's getting ready to be ready to rise up in full bloom. And this is a time when our feminine nature, even if you're a man, you have that feminine side. We all have the feminine side, the masculine side, the yin and the yang. So for all of us, our more receptive feminine side just needs some time alone to process and figure things out, to heal oneself in a deeply internal way. And you may find yourself feeling more sensitive right now as we're going towards this full moon in Cancer. You may be more sensitive to the external energies around you and any external noise in your life right now. And you might just want to put your AirPods in and tune out the rest of the world as we go transitioning into this Venus underworld time. And you just might be more sensitive to the people around you even, especially if you work with anyone who has toxic energy. You might notice you're feeling highly sensitive, and that is so normal during this Venus underworld time. So try to take some time to carve out more alone time for this full moon and more space to be in your own energy, even if it's just taking a long, luxurious soak in a bathtub, maybe for a few days. And this can also be a time for a deep dive journey into forgiveness. If you have anyone in your relationships or in your family that you need to forgive for some past wrongdoing, this is a really good time. You could just do journal work or maybe get some therapeutic work around that forgiveness. And this would be an ideal time to do family constellation work. If you've ever heard of this group work, which is the most powerful transpersonal psychology approach, using a group to co-create your past traumas and from your upbringing. And family constellation experiences can bring up these universal themes within families that need to be brought to the light, to be healed, to be addressed. And it's almost hard to explain this modality. I know some of you probably know what I'm talking about when I say family constellations. There was a great episode of Goop, you know, G-O-O-P, Gwyneth Paltrow's show, on her new Sex, Love, and Goop show. They did a whole episode around family constellation work. It was a really good representation of it, and I've seen this work being done in person, and it is phenomenal. You just have to experience it. And if you know of anyone who does this kind of family constellation work here in Oregon or the Pacific Northwest, I've been looking, just wanting to refer clients and also just to have a resource for that kind of work. And this incredibly potent Venus, Underworld, Venus, Invisible Time also reminds me of a book I read in college. Maybe you've read it too, The Red Tent. And this is just a time of women healers coming together in an invisible way where they gather in the red tent, and it's this sacred, spiritual, deep dive, healing time. And the red tent was about these women who came together to find empowerment in a time when they were so disempowered in these old biblical times. And they would gather in the red tent, and I had to actually pull out my book because I was like, I just want to find a quote that ties into this Venus, underground, underworld, invisible time. It was that red tent was just calling me from the bookshelf, and I found this quote. I just love it. In the red tent, the truth is known. In the red tent, where days pass like a gentle stream, is the gift of Inanna coursing through us, cleansing the body of last month's death and preparing the body for a new month's life. Women give thanks for this repose and restoration, for the knowledge that life comes from between our legs, and that life costs us this blood. It is so beautiful. If you have not read The Red Tent, you just have to go out and read that book. It was written a long time ago, but it's still, I want to read it again. You know, it's one of those books you want to revisit, because every time you revisit it, it's so powerful about women healers bonding together. And I think that's what this Venus underworld invisible time is about. It's about that divine feminine energy gathering strength to re-emerge. And this invisible Venus time is almost like Venus herself. Venus, the planet, is on her period, and she's like too potent, too powerful to be seen right now. And so she has to go into hiding as she's really in her strongest power. And then on January 17th, she will rise up in her full divine feminine glory and shine brighter than ever as that healer, warrior, morning star. And I cannot wait to look for Venus in that morning, early morning sky just before the dawn. And while Venus is in that invisible underworld, she needs that time and space alone. She is doing her own internal healing, deep dive work. And she's healing her trauma, and she's healing your trauma, and she's healing the trauma of the world right now, and healing all of our collective heart chakras. You can really feel, at least maybe because I'm a Venus retrograde, I'm really feeling the Venus energy in my heart space and my heart chakra, and just a great heart awareness and a heart coherence that is happening on our whole planet right now. And I'm having massage clients who are saying they're just feeling this heart chakra. Everybody's coming in with heart chakra stuff. And this also ties into the story of Inanna. If you know that story about the goddess who went into the underworld, who was deeply connected to Venus as well, and she went into the underworld, as the myth says, to conquer her sister Ereshkigal. But those who study Inanna at a deeper level know that Inanna's true intentions may have been to heal her relationship with her sister, to have forgiveness, just like we need to be doing that heart chakra, that forgiveness. When you forgive others, you're really healing yourself. It's not about them. It's about healing yourself through forgiveness of whatever they've done to you. You forgive for your own healing. And so Inanna went down into the underworld to do her own healing and her forgiveness with her sister. But there was all these people who thought that she was just there to overtake her sister and take the throne of the underworld, which she didn't necessarily even want. And she ended up going to court and was deemed, you know, as trying to overthrow Ereshkigal, and she was sentenced by 7 judges of the underworld to death. And so Inanna got to the most deepest invisible. She was killed in the underworld. But then Enki comes and saves Inanna. He rescues her and brings her back to life and restores her vitality and heals her and brings her back up, and she rises up in her divine feminine power, just like Venus is going to rise as morning star soon. Inanna rises up from the underworld stronger, healed, having forgiven her sister. She is a completely healed, stronger, more powerful goddess. And she goes on to be this amazing warrior goddess, just like Venus is now in her warrior goddess, divine feminine energy, stronger than ever and ready to take on the world in 2022. And we are all experiencing this healing crisis, transformation, deep dive into our own kind of underworld right now. Everyone I know is going through some kind of major healing. Maybe you're more isolated. A lot of people I know are quarantined right now. I cannot believe how many people where I live in Oregon have COVID and are in a kind of quarantine, which is another kind of healing crisis. And it's a time to do that deep dive, to take out that, carving out that time and space alone to do the really deep inner work. We don't get very many opportunities in life to take this time to really embrace that inner healing and healing the healing crisis and forgiving those who may have trespassed on you, or, you know, really healing everything in your heart, so that when January 17th comes and we have this Cancer full moon, you too can re-emerge stronger and healed and healing your heart. Really use this opportunity that we are given right now to do the healing work, so you can re-emerge stronger and fully healed, just as Venus is rising up as morning star. And then on the very next day, of course, the north node of the moon moves into that Taurus Scorpio axis, and Taurus is that rebirth energy, so aligning well with that Venus being reborn as morning star. And the Scorpio axis is like the phoenix rising from the ashes. This full moon is all about a healing transformation. And this whole 2022 with that Taurus Scorpio axis that's going to be with us for the whole year is asking us all to do that deep transformative work to really transform ourselves from within, and then transform the world without with Taurus. Because Taurus, of course, all about the earth. And so we are transforming ourselves, Scorpio, going inward, doing the underworld work, coming out like the phoenix rising from the ashes. And Taurus is asking for rebirth on earth. And so it is going to be a powerful year ahead. And just wait until we get to these Taurus Scorpio axis eclipses that will be coming in 2022. You'll want to make sure you subscribe so you can learn about how the eclipses are going to rock our world. And this Cancer full moon, we also have Pluto opposite the moon, and Pluto's coming in strong, also shining that powerful light of transformation. Of course, Pluto rules Scorpio, and Pluto is about your personal power. And the personal is political right now. We all need to be doing those internal, personal healing within, healing our hearts, so that we can make a change in the world that needs to happen, and it needs to happen like yesterday. But we can't change the world until we change what's within us and change our heart and do our own deep dive healing work. So this is the work of this Cancer full moon. And of course, Cancers are just the most introverted, in their shell kind of person I know. So it's a pretty comfortable time in a Cancer full moon to take some time off, to be like that caterpillar in the cocoon and go within and do your own inner transformation. This work will really pay off as we go on through 2022. Take the time now. Have some kind of ritual. This would not be a good full moon for like a group ritual. This is a full moon to really go within and get within your heart and do the deep dive on your own personal healing transformation. And this Venus Underworld Cancer full moon time is really about your soul's evolution. And maybe you've been having some crazy dreams. I know I've been having crazy dreams. All my massage clients have been coming in saying, wow, I'm having crazy dreams. We're really getting some esoteric downloads right now that are helping us to transform our world. So pay attention. Really good time to listen to your dreams, your subconscious, meditate, be mindful, go within, and that soul's evolution will just continue this year as we have such an intense year with key planets this year being Saturn, Uranus, Mars, Venus, Pluto. All the big guns are going to be making some huge sweeping changes to come. So like I said, just subscribe so you can learn about it every step of the way. So get your bowl of popcorn and let the movie of 2022 begin, because this is going to be an epic saga, like Lord of the Rings or something. It's going to get real interesting with a little bit of chaos, as I talked about in my 9-star key reading. But it's going to be an interesting movie ahead. And I was also watching, the Google was talking about like the most searched words of 2021, and I thought it was so interesting that how to heal was the #1 most Googled. It was like how to heal a broken heart, how to heal this, how to heal that. And we are in a time where collectively we are needing to learn how to heal ourselves. And that is part of this epic transformation, this soul evolution that we're going to be seeing more and more in 2022 as we all learn how to heal. And I know as a healer myself, I do massage and Reiki, and there has been such a demand for healers in 2021, and already in 2022 my phone is ringing off the hook. So I know that you all want to learn how to heal. And that is mostly why I created this channel, because I want to have healing meditations and healing distance Reiki, and just to teach people how to heal themselves. And that is going to become more and more popular as we go on from this Cancer full moon with this Venus rising up. We all need to learn how to heal thyself. And another healing aspect that we have coming with this full moon is on January 14th, Mercury goes retrograde in Aquarius, and then it will go back all the way to Capricorn. And I know you're saying, what? Mercury in retrograde is not a healing time. But I am going to do a whole separate video on how you can not only survive Mercury retrograde, but how to use the energy of Mercury retrograde to thrive. And Mercury retrograde really is asking us, just like this Venus retrograde is asking us, to take a step back, to slow down, to take some time to go within for that inner reflection. And of course, Mercury in retrograde in Aquarius. Aquarius is all about the community. So this Mercury retrograde is really going to be affecting how we relate with others within our community, and our community relationships and communications and interactions can be a little bit off for this Mercury retrograde. And I think some of us are already feeling this when you go out to the grocery store or just interacting with people. It's a little off right now, but you can learn how to use a Mercury retrograde time to your advantage and how to use it for business and love and relationships. I'm going to do a whole separate video because I thought, my gosh, between talking about Venus and talking about Mercury retrograde, this is going to be a 6-hour video if I try to cover everything. So that will be a whole separate video, and make sure to subscribe, and I'll put that Mercury retrograde video here for you to learn. And every Mercury retrograde has its own special sauce, depending on what zodiac sign it's in and what other aspects are playing with it. And this Mercury retrograde is really special because it will be squaring Saturn. So we have Mercury retrograding in Aquarius, which is all about how we interact with the community, and that will be squaring Saturn, which is about that rules, regulations, restrictions. So you can see how that's going to create an intense Mercury retrograde. And then it will also be squaring, Mercury will be squaring Uranus, which of course we had that Saturn-Uranus square all of 2021. And Uranus is more about rebellion, freedom. I don't want to wear a mask, I want to do my own thing. And so we're going to see a lot of crazy making between the rules, regulations, and how to behave and interact in society, and then the rebellion, the freedom, I don't want to do that, and the rising up of people who are just not wanting to do all that anymore. We're also, COVID fatigued and tired of doing it all. And so it will be a really interesting, that's the special sauce of this Mercury retrograde, is Mercury retrograde in Aquarius going all the way back to Capricorn, with Saturn, that Saturn-Uranus square in there too. It's gonna be intense. And I will talk even more about Mercury retrograde in the next new moon report, because we will still be soaking in it even in February. It'll be going through February. And for those of you who follow the 9-star key, this month we are in that 3 fast-growing tree, the blooming tree. We've just come out of a 4-star, which was the tree that blows in the wind. Remember last month I said be like the leaf on the wind, and now we are going into a fast-growing tree. So we have this burst of energy to get stuff done before February 4th, when we enter the whole year of the soil star. And February 4th will also be a 2 Earth star, so we have double Earth for the month of February. So February can be a little slower, a little bit more like being stuck in the mud. So I know for me, I'm trying to get my taxes done and get all my ducks in a row and things happening before February, when we get a little bit of an earthy slowdown. And we will be very grounded and rooted in that earth energy of February, but it can be a slower energy, a slower time for getting stuff done. And I just want to read an I-Ching that I drew for this Cancer full moon, and it is the I-Ching number 40, J-I-E, which means release. And after there has been a time of extreme stress or tension, there must come a time when things are released. Oh, it's so like the Venus, releasing and healing. And this is like the freshness in the air after a thunderstorm. The barometric pressure has been released now, and the rain has come and cleared the air. I heard that somewhere back east they just had thunder snow. I've never even heard of that, but that's when it's snowing and there's thunderstorms at the same time. So crazy weather going on right now. But after the storm, there is a release and a relief that everything's okay. And a feeling of new opportunities and a fresh new optimism can come after a dark storm. And the rains of forgiveness can wash relationships clean after a conflict or an argument. And so we have for this month a newfound clarity of purpose and a renewal that follows the healing of old buried wounds. But care must be taken to avoid accidentally reopening your wounds by moving too quickly now. So following a resolution or the recovery of a difficult situation, your first priority is to return to normal conditions as quickly as possible. Breathe in a sigh of relief and release whatever no longer serves you. Make a clean sweep of any past mistakes. Forgive, forget, and move on to see if your fortunes might improve. I leave you with one last quote from the Red Tent. I was really getting into the Red Tent this month. And for this Cancer full moon, and I'm also going to do a full energy pendulum clearing for all of you who have listened here today. And I leave you with this quote from the Red Tent. Fear not, for the time is coming. Fear not, because your bones are strong. Fear not, help is always nearby. Fear not, the earth is beneath you. Fear not, we have water and salt. Fear not, little mother. Fear not, mother of us all. Thank you so much for watching. And there was another myth I was going to add to this and I forgot in the recording, which is in the Mayan culture. They also have Kukulkan, a feathered serpent god who is associated with Venus and passes into the underworld to go through a kind of healing, crisis, transformation, and death. And then is reborn, rebirthing in those 8 days. And then Kukulkan rises up as Venus rises as morning star. Every time Venus goes in front of the sun, there is a death, rebirth cycle associated with this passage from the evening to morning sky, which correlates with that Scorpio Taurus north node of the moon axis, the death, transformation, rebirth cycle that will be ruling all of 2022.